You too. What it do? What it do? My bad, y'all. I had to change the battery in my camera, bro. So like I was saying, man, we got it's gonna be a good little stream too, though. I ain't even gonna lie. It's gonna be a good little stream. Like I was saying, I got Alex Murdaugh case get overturned. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, CLR. You know what I'm saying? Criminal lawyer reacts. Bruce, Mr. Bruce. Hopefully, he break down the situation in his case before, so he can actually give y'all an update on who he is and what's all going on with his case. You know what I'm saying? I already know who he is, but I'm just trying to get y'all understood on who he is and just really what he about, you know what I'm saying, and who he was. Matter of fact, I ain't even just gonna say who he. I'm just say who he was, but we
What
just gonna get
happened?
into it.
Well, what were the grounds for appeal? Well, this Becky Hill, oh my God, I don't think she's a court
Who
clerk
that?
anymore. The justices found that Clerk Becky Hill made inappropriate
Y'all
comments
know
to the
Alex
jurors.
Murdaugh. Y'all
You
already
know,
know he get his way.
when you
Ain't even gonna hold
have
it.
a jury that's deliberating, the court takes great pains to make sure that nobody has inappropriate access to the jurors, because anything that they do, say, or do can be considered inappropriate, contact to influence the jury. So, Supreme Court said she had made inappropriate comments to the jurors, including urging them to watch Murdaugh's actions closely and suggesting that his testimony was untruthful. Are you fucking serious? How would she think that's a good idea? And guess what she was doing at the time?
What?
Guess. No, go ahead, guess. No, seriously, guess. Would you guess already? No, I'm joking. She was writing a book.
And she did write a book. It was later pulled from publication. She acknowledged plagiarizing some parts of it.
Oh, so not only did she with the jury, but she didn't write the book. And I think the fact that it's a small town also is makes it more dangerous
Oh God.
that the influence
Y'all
might have
just
been
get in the
felt
comments and let me know if y'all want me to
by this.
if y'all want me to catch
Let's see,
y'all
what
up
do we want to call her?
on the
I think
actual
her
case
nicknames rhyme with what they do on Fourth Down.
on what he did. Cause I don't think he gonna break down just actually who he is and what he did.
And it's gonna react to all the self.
Okay.
So go to askalawyer.com. Okay.
I think he is gonna break it down.
So the state of South Carolina,
But I'm finna go and tell y'all that boy Alex Murdaugh, that's a bad man. I'm talking about he get away with, man, damn near anything. Anything he wanna do, he get away with it, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Anything he wanna do, he get away
versus
with it.
Richard
With ease.
Alexander Murdaugh
He
was
that
a
nigga.
trial of the former American lawyer. Let's talk about who this guy was. I think he was like fourth generation law firm. You see the big portraits on the wall. This is great grandfather Murdaugh. This is grandfather Murdaugh. This is my father Murdaugh, and this is me ripping everybody off. And what a piece of shit I was. So that's what we're dealing with. It was a
think
firm
it was like
around for 100 years.
third or
And
fourth.
he was charged and convicted with the murder of his wife, Maggie, and their 22-year-old son, Paul, on June 7th, 2021, so 5 years
Fucked
ago.
up.
And the trial was the 14th Circuit, South Carolina, and he was found guilty. And then his, if you remember, so one of the key pieces of evidence in this case was a Snapchat audio. And he can be heard on that audio, and it's his son on the audio on a Snapchat. I don't know how they even got that, but they got that, and so he shot his.
Say
He
his
was
name.
accused and convicted of shooting his wife and his son, and then calls 911 later, and he tried to blame his defense tried to blame somebody else. Well, what happened? Well, what were the grounds for appeal? Well, this Becky Hill, oh my God, I don't think she's a court clerk anymore. The justices found that Clerk Becky Hill made inappropriate comments to the jurors. When you have a jury that's deliberating, the court takes great pains to make sure that nobody has inappropriate access to the jurors, because anything that they do, say, or do can be considered inappropriate, contact to influence the jury. So, Supreme Court said she had made inappropriate comments to the jurors, including urging them to watch Murdaugh's actions closely and suggesting that his testimony was untruthful. Are you fucking serious? How would she think that's a good idea? And guess what she was doing at the time? Guess.
Man, it's
No,
really
go ahead,
just the
guess.
same shit from the intro.
No, seriously, guess. Would you guess already? No, I'm joking. She
But
was
that boy
writing a
Alex Murdaugh,
book.
that's a
She was
cold-hearted
writing a
nigga though,
fucking
bro.
book.
I can't even hold
So
it.
they said that this suggestion.
Bro, anytime you can kill your son and your wife and just go to court and testify and act like you didn't do the shit, bro, you's a fucked up person. I say that. You's a fucked up individual, bro. How the fuck can you kill somebody that you sleep with, you lay your head beside every night? How the fuck can you kill somebody that you put into this world? Niggas is fucked up, bro, I'm telling you. People in this world is fucked up. I could never in a million years see
The
myself
testimony
killing
of
my fucking
Murdaugh
son.
that was untruthful
I can't see
violated
myself
his
killing
right to an impartial
anything I put
jury.
in this world.
And here's the shit of
Let
this,
alone somebody I
is
sleep
that
with every
her
night. What the
doing
fuck?
this, in all likelihood, didn't have any impact on the jurors. I bet if you talk to the jurors, they would say that. Well, yeah, she said that, but it didn't really make a difference to us. I'm sure they would say that. But what a fucking tool for her to do this. I mean, because now that conviction has been overturned by the state Supreme Court. Now the state has two options. They can go retry this case, or they can go up to the next level, to the the U.S. Court of Appeals,
Which I
and then
think
the
they'll
Supremes, I
decide.
suppose. I don't know if they would hear it or not. It all depends upon what the issues are. But remember, that wasn't his only case. He also had all these people that he defrauded out of money. He was doing drugs. He was probably seeing hookers. He was, ripping people off. So in their 29-page ruling, the Supreme Court also cautioned prosecutors on how the extensive, far too deep evidence regarding Murdaugh's financial fraud was used during the murder trial, suggesting it unfairly prejudiced the jury. I don't know why the hell you needed to put that in there. Probably to give context, I'm guessing, because if you have a trial and they're trying to bring in bad act evidence, you can't have that bad act evidence to show bad character of the defendant. But you can have it in to show the reason for the defendant's behavior. And I think that's why they included it. So the state prosecutors announced their intention to retry Murdaugh on the murder charges for the 2021 deaths of his wife Maggie and son Paul. The retrial will essentially start from scratch.
Damn.
Start from scratch. And here's
What?
the thing. They will start this trial. They'll take
How they
the
gonna try
order
to
from
do
the...
that? How they gonna try to do that and start from scratch though? I don't. What the fuck do you mean start from scratch? Like all the evidence, everything y'all had is just thrown out the window. How the fuck is this case even getting overturned for him to get retried? That shit is crazy as hell, fo. What the
Supreme
fuck?
Court, and they'll filter that down into, okay, so these are our guidelines. This is what we did wrong last time. This is why can they try him again? Isn't that double jeopardy? No, it's not double jeopardy. Double jeopardy is where you're charged twice and get convictions on both crimes. He was tried, right? But that conviction was overturned. So it's as though the prosecution never happened. So it's not double jeopardy. But he won't be getting out of prison. He had $12 million that he ripped off from clients. $12 million. That's a lot.
Damn.
He pleaded guilty to that, and I think he's serving like a 99-year sentence or something like that. He's
Fraud.
not getting out. The ruling is a win for Murdaugh, who admits to being a thief. I'm a liar. I'm an insurance cheat and a bad lawyer. But I'm not a murderer. I'm not a bad guy. And the younger son,
Crazy as
Paul,
fuck.
since they found their bodies outside the home in 2021, I just can't believe that you could live with yourself if you did something like this. The justices ruled that Becky Hill, assigned to oversee the evidence and the jury during the trial, influenced the jurors to find Murdaugh guilty.
But bro, they had a Snapchat all the way up. Like he said in the first beginning, they had a Snapchat of his son recorded a video all the way up into the couple seconds until he died, bro. And the last motherfucker to call his name right before he died was nigga his daddy. Oh God. It was his daddy. It was Alex fucking Murdaugh. Oh God. It was Alex Murdaugh. He called his name and said, "Come here, Bubba." And he got them stopped recording and went to go see what his daddy want. After that, he died.
She hoped to improve the sale of her book that she was writing about the case. How ridiculous is that? So let's take a look at this clip to show why the verdict was overturned.
A murder conviction that gripped the nation and touched on power and privilege in the South is being tossed out. Former South Carolina prosecutor Alec Murdaugh was found guilty of killing his wife and son on their estate.
Not a particularly handsome fellow.
But today, the state's Supreme Court threw out his double murder conviction.
Motherfucker looked like he'll do something crazy.
In a unanimous opinion, the justices overturned Murdaugh's life sentence for the murders, pointing to shocking jury interference by a court clerk during the trial. Murdaugh was convicted of killing his wife Maggie and son Paul on a summer night in 2021 at their secluded family compound. He took the stand, insisting he was innocent, but had to acknowledge he lied about his initial claim that he was not at the murder scene.
I don't know why she did this, because she didn't need to do this. I mean, this Becky Hill, I mean, she should have been brought up on charges, and I think she might have been, which would, I think it would have been a misdemeanor. But if you recall his testimony, we reacted to his testimony. He was just, I wouldn't believe a fucking word he said. The more he talked, the less I believed him.
Come on,
proven by incredible cell phone video taken by his son shortly before his death. No murder weapon was found, but the jury deliberated just 3 hours before convicting him. State Attorney General Alan Wilson says he will hold another trial. Meantime, the disbarred lawyer, Murdaugh, will remain in prison where he is serving a separate decades-long sentence for stealing more than $12 million from his clients. No one
and you know
knows
that's
this case
crazy as fuck. You know that's crazy as fuck for you to still do fraud, for you to steal that much money and do fraud and get that much time, you know what I'm saying? I thought, if I ain't mistaken, Chad, I thought if you stole some money or fraud or any type of little petty, not petty, but any type of little crime like that, if I ain't mistaken, Chad, I thought it was like, a max of like 5 to 7 years you can get. You can only get a max of like 5 years, non-violent crime, fraud. I thought it was a max of like 5 to 7 years you can get. Y'all get in the chat and let me know if I'm wrong, but I thought it was like a max of like 5, 7 years.
And what it means, then Valerie Borline from the Wall Street Journal, the author of The Devil at His Elbow, Alec Murdaugh and the Fall of a Southern Dynasty. Valerie, this is a dramatic decision, but is it surprising?
Well, you know, Lisa, there have been so many surprising moments in this case, but yes, and here there is another one. It is surprising. I think in a couple.
I'm not that surprised. I mean, really what was at stake here is the integrity of the jury process, you know, and you've got somebody who's an insider. You've got, you know, a court fucking clerk charged. One of the things they're charged with is seeing to the security and the safety of that jury. I mean, that is your job, to make sure that nobody influences the jury. You're not, you know, you got a deputy and that's it. And you got to make sure that they're secluded from everybody else. And here you're the one, you know, with the that charge, and you're the one who's violating your oath.
I think in a couple regards, it was a unanimous decision by a Supreme Court. That just sends a message that it was not even a close call, that they felt like the behavior of the clerk of court, I think they said it was breathtaking and disgraceful, and was enough in spite of all of Alec's many misdeeds, and they called out the judge and the lawyers for running a good proceeding, but they just felt like her errors were so egregious that they had no choice but to grant him a new trial. So yes, it is surprising to be where we are.
It's one of those things where it's so shocking. The Supreme Court really sent a message that, look, we care about the integrity of the court.
All right, chat, if y'all stay to the end, YouTube, if y'all stay to the end of this video, I'm finna drop I'm gonna do another part 2, so y'all just stay tuned for part 2. It'll come right after this, so y'all just stay tuned, you feel me?